Hello and welcome to Cheshire Audio. Now, yeah, I'm still wearing the fleece. It's still freezing. It was just snowing earlier, so yeah, it's quite cold out there. Yeah, much excitement. Our Rega Elex mk4's arrived, which was only actually launched about a week and a half ago, and it's just the first batch has literally just started appearing in dealers. We've had ours, so what I'm going to do is have a look at. I'm going to do an unboxing. And then I'll put it on the shelf and we'll compare it to the old version, because I've still got the old version, which is for sale if you're interested, obviously. But I'll talk about that again in a sec as well. So yeah, I'll move the camera, let's do an unboxing, and then we'll do a comparison. So here we go, Rega Elex. Hopefully the phone's not going to ring now, because it's Saturday morning, so who knows, it could do. Just for some clips under here. I'm quite excited about this one actually, because I think the LX has been sort of the mainstay of the range really. It's a big step up from a Brio, or it always was a big step up from a Brio, and it's a tremendous driving potential amplifier wise. For its price, it's phenomenal really, always was. So a new version of it is something else really. There we go. Manual actually. Rega didn't used to do manuals. Don't tell you a lot. Yeah, I used to get a little leaflet saying thank you for buying Rega, and that was it. Get it out. And within the packing there you've got remotes in there, mains leads in there. I might just leave those in there actually, because I tend not to use remotes. I know people probably want to see the remote, but I like to leave them as new really for when they get sold on. So there you go, nicely wrapped up. Let's see if I can do this without any future disasters happening. The hardest bit. And straight away you can tell there's something different going on the back of here. Not something I'm totally happy about. Carry on. Okay. Oh, pretty. Okay, I'll move the camera. I'll get the old version next to it, and let's do a comparison. So there you go. We've got the new version on the left, old version on the right hand side. Rega have slowly been trying to bring in the sort of Athos look to all the equipment, and I think it was very obvious on the Illicit. The Illicit changed quite a lot, and the Illicit sort of gained a sort of very similar volume control to the Athos and the sort of end cheek sort of design. The LX, I think the original was already quite sort of Athosy, if that's a word, quite chunky at the corners and this sort of shape and everything. So the new version is kind of just a sort of tidying up of that really. They've slimmed this down. The volume control I've noticed is quite textured now. It hasn't got the sort of side skirt on it like on the Athos and the Illicit. It's like I say, it's textured, whereas this is quite smooth. It's sort of just purely machined. There's no texture on it at all. Don't know which I prefer, to be honest. In some ways I might prefer the original. One thing about them though, I've noticed, and I think this was a bit of a customer was talking to me about this the other day, and I sort of agreed with him, because I've noticed it on the original. Switch on, get the Rega logo, and there's little identifier lights next to 1, 2, 3, 4 sort of inputs. So you flick, if you can see that, flick between. If you're above it, looking down, which you invariably are, quite often the little LED lights up. So the light is sort of visible through two of the little indicator slots. So it's not always that easy to see what input you're on. So you have to get right down, which, you know, people my age can't get down that low very easily. So in fact I'm struggling now. New version is like the Illicit, where Rega logo and you click between. Much easier to see. So yeah, I suppose that's a move forward, if anything. It was just a bit of a quirk of the old. I mean, that style dates back to the previous Brio. I think that's the first time that appeared. That idea. It's all right when you get used to it, but it's just one of those slightly quirky things. It's a bit strange. I don't know if you can see that. If you're looking from above, you can see it looks like two of the lights are on, but no, it's only one. So yeah, anyway, Does it matter? No, of course it doesn't. Other than that, there's not a lot in it really. I think they've sort of gone away from the big clunky switch. It's a much more elegant solution. Little click switch, a bit like I say, like the Illicit. Not like, and I'm not sure I particularly like this either. The Athos has a switch hidden in this panel here. When it's off, I think you can't see it. So the amount of people who are sort of searching how to switch on, and it's like you just press this side of the panel and it sort of pushes in there. Much prefer the sort of visible switching and everything. The biggie on this is as you cycle through, and I was very doubtful about this as an idea, but it seems to have worked out with the Illicit okay. Inputs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, D1, D2. We've got digital inputs on here. I would imagine the DAC in here is very good because Rega are particularly good at DACs. So if you need that sort of thing, yeah, great. I was very worried that with the Illicit that it would affect the sound and give it that sort of, because an awful lot of amplifiers that are sort of multifunctional tend to be very bland sounding. The Illicit really isn't. They've really sussed it with the Illicit. It sounds amazing. So I wasn't too worried when they sort of announced they were going to do this on the Elex. We shall see. I'm not obviously. I need to run it in and have a proper listen, and that'll be a subject of a future video. I'll do a proper review of this. But anyway, let's have a look at the back panel. Let's see what's going on there. Because I don't think there's an awful lot of changes there, either. Yeah, so back panel, as predicted, isn't really that different when you look at them. I mean, obviously, if you look a bit closer, we have actually got an optical and coax digital on here as well. But the other inputs haven't changed. We've got input 1, 2, 3 to 5. Input 1 is your phono, then 2, 3, 4 and 5 are line inputs. And then we've got record full line output there, so you can use that with headphone amps, things like Stax headphones, things like that would work a full line out. We've also got preamp out, so if only Rega did a power amp. I've talked to Rega about that. In fact, I was talking to a customer the other day who's got, I think he's still got actually, cursor with Exxon monoblocks that Rega used to do, which were fabulous. And if you remember back far enough, Rega did a little stereo amplifier called the Maya, which had a preamp out on it, and they did the internal power amp of that as a separate power amp. So you could buy you had a mirror using it as a preamp, and you could buy a Maya, and then what you could then do is biamp. You could use your main amplifier for treble, your bottom amplifier for bass. I'm going to do a video on biamping because it is interesting. They also did a cursor preamp as well, so that you could have pre-power, you could have a pre-power, a pre with 2 powers, a pre with 4 monoblocks or 2 monoblocks. So there was all sorts of combinations, but they don't do it anymore. But then they do still have the pre out there. So you'd have to have another manufacturer's power amp, which you just wouldn't do really, because the power amps in these are great. Anyway, what else have we got? So yeah, the same layout with speaker outputs. You'll notice these have little black bungs in there, which you just pull out. It's some some C regulation from years ago, which apparently I think basically these are similar to French or the European mains plugs. So you have to cover them up when they're sold, and if you take them out, if you need to take them out. Don't ask me. Yeah, other than that, we're kind of the same really. Little 2-pin IEC. You can still 2-pin IEC plug or a 3-pin will fit it. Rega quite often use 2 pins. That's it. Yeah, I think as far as back panel goes, pretty good really. I think the thing about the digital side, it's like I say, if it's like the Illicit, the Illicit hasn't been really affected by it. It must have been to a degree, but they seem to have got around it somehow. It is quite a good DAC. This is the same DAC, I believe, as in the Illicit. One thing that is quite interesting, if you're into watching films, just stick the optical into your TV, because TVs don't have stereo inputs anymore. It's actually really good, just from your TV as an input. I actually prefer TV through a little stereo amp. I mean, at home I've just got a little DAC running into an input for the TV, and if we're watching a film, we switch the system on and listen. You know, it's not surround sound, but there's something about it which is sort of better actually. Particularly if there's a big musical score or anything like that. I have had an idea of doing a sort of top 5 films with great musical scores on, partly from my own experience doing that at home of running the TV through the amp. But anyway, that's way in the future, that one. Yeah, I think that's it really. I think as far as back panel goes, let's turn the camera around. Okay, that's the Rega Elex Mark 4. I've got high hopes for it, to be honest, and what I'll be doing now is I'll be running it in the shop for a week or two, get it running and have a proper listen to it. As I said before, my old demonstrator Elex, which I don't think's been out very long, to be honest. I'll have to check that, but if you're interested in buying that, UK only, by the way, it's available. I've actually put it onto the website's ex-demonstration list, so it is on there now. So yeah, if you want to buy one, it's there. So that's it, I think. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the subscribes and likes and everything else. Really appreciated, actually. Really appreciate it. I shall see you in a future video. Thank you very much. I'm freezing. I'm really freezing. Bye.